strategy. I guess they need to show us a few more and then go into the draft because it's going to be time to find out. Saigon Jokers on the blue side, Chiefs over on the red. Alistar Kindred, the first two bans addressed there from the Saigon Jokers, and the Chiefs go with Echo and Maokai as their first two bans. So two top laners taken out there.
Yeah, they take out the top laners. Focusing Rowe as well. Very important that they do limit his champion pool availability.
Well, Graves actually banned away as smart. Strong jungler all tournament long, and Spooks did have a good showing on it. But we'll see what the last ban here from the Chiefs is. Nothing massively sticking out just yet.
Does this mean that the Saigon Jokers are just going to pick the Nidalee? Yeah, look at those bans.
Yeah, I mean, Gragas, another one that's a jungler and a top laner. So 3 top lane bans really from the Chiefs you have to look at. And Nidalee being the most obvious pick still left open with the other two strong junglers banned out. Again, Jinky has gone towards more of those gank-style junglers, but he has still played the Nidalee. We know he can take it. We know Spooks is also a big Nidalee player. Would be a great first pick to both have and to take away from the Chiefs.
Yeah, and considering he has played it, I would wager he would want to go towards it. The thing is, going for that and almost being forced into that priority when there are top laners available, when there are maybe Kalista as the AD carry available as well. There's a lot of priority that needs to be taken. This is the other big one as well. With all the top lane bans, that's the natural progression.
Yep, Swiper did show up on the Poppy, so there's Poppy over to Saigon Jokers. We'll see how Rowe does on the champion. I wonder if Chiefs even take the Nidalee, because they clearly left it open. I'm not sure if Spooks wants to play it yet. So if they take it here, we'll be kind of curious to see how their draft strategies are unfolding. But right now, the Chiefs, just considering these first two picks, there we go, Sivir Rise. So a little bit more meta. This could be dangerous, given that they tried to play a little bit more of this style on day one, but you cannot deny the power of those first two picks.
And Sivir's just ridiculous, let's be perfectly honest. The later the game goes, the more damage both of these carries deal. Sivir always able to compensate in the early to mid game with that burst regardless, once you have your first item in place. I think we're looking at the rest of the Chiefs roster once they start to round it out to compensate with that early pressure as well. I would imagine even the Bard or the Thresh in the support role to actually step up and get them there.
Yeah, it does just feel like the Chiefs, they sort of baited them into the Poppy pick. Saigon Jokers took it, and then they wanted to grab Sivir Rise for themselves. So I agree, very powerful, but getting there could be the hard part. We'll see what the Chiefs do for the rest of their draft later on, as Saigon Jokers are actually looking for their picks 2 and 3. I mentioned that Jinky seems to favor more of these gank-style junglers. Is hovering Elise right now, might be taking that one and does lock it in. Trundle also going to join in there as a flex pick. So definitely Sue or Rowe could flex both of these champions that they've picked in the first 3.
Absolutely. Jinky on the Elise and the flex between top and support now. As once again,
every time. There it is.
As expected and as is custom between these two, of course, you have to give them the shout out because they've lost with this composition at IWCI.
They certainly did. This was the classic Nunu Vlad, no CC.
Yeah. Where is all of our crowd control?
Don't think they'll be running it today, but always nice to see them having fun, given that it is, again, long days here that these teams have to consider. There's Braum, there's Nidalee. Chiefs going straight back to meta with these picks. Again, we noted that Braum has been surprisingly absent.
Yeah.
The tournament sort of developed into its pretty chaotic little meta. Chiefs deciding, you know what, it's time to go back to basics and just go back to what we know is strong.
Well, that's always a good way to run it as well, because honestly, the reason that they are considered meta and basic is because they're the best staple champions in the game currently present. That's why we see them the most. So the Chiefs getting almost the ideal team composition so far with that 4-man roster in place. Yet to pick for top lane from the looks of it. Rise is actually not very good in the top lane anymore.
Nope.
Swiper getting that counter pick option, but does he know which one it is?
Yeah, that's the issue. I guess he's waiting for the rest of the draft to see if that informs him, because Saigon Jokers do have to finish their 5 picks here. Looking at TF and Lucian right now, but I wouldn't be surprised if Celebrity went back to Lucian. That seems to make the most sense, given what we've seen from him. But it could be something different here for Levita, who is back in the lineup, by the way. Warzone will not be playing, at least for this game, but the TF's locked in. The Lucian will get picked up as well. Really like the draft there from Saigon Jokers.
Yeah, I definitely do like the draft here. They've got a very well-rounded composition in the way of rotations around the map. Gank heavy does kind of feel right for these guys.
What? Oh.
Now let him lock in first.
I think they're having
okay.
fun.
He's having a laugh. He's definitely having a laugh. I do think it's going to be the Poppy top lane, however, if I had to make an initial assumption, regardless of what Swiper plays. And the Lucian Trundle lane is scary, because you place down the pillar, you knock them towards you, and you get the immediate double tap Q combo.
Good for damage here, as So a Nah hover could be a consideration for Swiper, but about 15 seconds left to finish up this draft. You can see EGM on your screen talking very rapidly to his team, clearly trying to decide what they want to lock in here. Everyone else just looking calm. Again, Chiefs have got themselves a nice composition. Did feel like execution was more the issue on day one than anything else. This comp is very powerful, as Nautilus is the last pick here from the Chiefs. Theoretically, this comp should do very well if they get it to the right power points.
Yeah.
But can they get them there? We'll see if the Chiefs have adjusted after 2 days of play.
Absolutely right. They need to get themselves to that point, and it's naughty time.
It is.
Time. That was really awkward. But once again, Swiper playing that Nautilus is a scary thing. It won them the finals to get to this position. So Chiefs Esports Club have put themselves together the best possible team composition. The Saigon Jokers have answered with their personal flair on it. They've got a lot of ganking capabilities. Of course, it's a Twisted Fate Elise. Very dangerous if they get rolling as well.
Yeah, I actually really like the Saigon Jokers comp. I think it suits their style that's quite reactive, but does let them be proactive. I do expect Jinky to get into these lanes pretty early and often and try and shut some of this down. The Chiefs, though, they're just going to have to play some good fundamental League of Legends here. And like I said, it feels like day 2, they just needed a win. They went pretty crazy and engage heavy until INTZ managed to pick one up there. I feel like they've reset themselves and said, you know what? It's still a long tournament. We need to get wins. We want to be playing consistent good league. We feel like we're warmed up. Let's take the difficult comp, because this comp is hard to execute on, even though the points of power are very obvious, and say, you know what? We think we can outclass some of these teams with good picks. Let's do it here. Saigon Jokers, though, as always, they could just throw a big spanner into the works.
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said outclass. That's definitely where they're looking to go towards with the composition they put together. It is stock standard. It's meta. It's exactly what you expect in a general, very generic team composition. But that means they have to play perfect.
Yep.
Because they can't make mistakes. They have to need to cover themselves up well, set themselves up, and just play a class-heavy game where Saigon Jokers, if they force them into disarray, which is something we often see between C and Oceania, it's just this sporadic disarray that's just randomly, enacted by the Saigon Jokers, it would be this time around. Could tip them off balance.
It really could. And I think all the lanes have potential, actually, to get out of control. Even Poppy, when she gets ahead, can be pretty obnoxious. Swiper sort of demonstrated that yesterday versus INTZ. Twisted Fate, at least, though, is definitely the big one to look for. So we are onto Summoner's Rift for our second game of the day. Oceani's the Chiefs will once again go into battle. Saigon Jokers have been looking quite strong, but a win here for the Chiefs is the right way forward. Pick up their first win yesterday. We'll see if they can get their second, or if Saigon Jokers actually will continue a very good run here at the tournament thus far.
Yeah, I think the first step is Rose actually top lane. So we need to keep that in mind with the Poppy that he has picked. It's not the Trundle. So they have gone for the Lucian Trundle lane. It's a very good 2v2 lane, which brings up the first initial thought of do the Chiefs lane swap, knowing that they're going to be into a Lucian Trundle. Whilst they have the Braum, I think Trundle's actually quite good into Braum. Based off the way that he has to position himself. Loses a lot of stats and empowers Trundle quite well with that Grasp of the Undying on a Trundle.
And it looks like they are trying for a swap here. Chiefs already there.
The blind match, though.
Yeah, Celebrity and Sue actually will match here. I think the Chiefs, I like the idea, again, you've got a standard comp, but you do need to scale up. Playing the early game, a little faster, getting to guaranteed gold, if you will, on those outer turrets. Makes sense to try and set the game up well for yourself. Swiper and Spooks will stick together here, but if the Chiefs wanted the 2v1 or 2v0, they're not going to get it here. And Rowan and Jinky are already stuck together here on red buff.
Yeah, they're actually looking to stop the Grom from happening. But from the looks of it, they want to catch the Chiefs out, going for the blue.
Potentially trapped here as well. They're actually looking for a little bit of advantage from the Sentinels. But Sue actually maybe getting stunned. EGM can't quite find the other auto. And Raider got chunked by Celebrity.
Yeah, Raider actually auto-cancelling the Braum stun also. Unlucky stuff for the Chiefs. But Saigon Jokers, they were prepared. And they were aware that that was happening, and they match it and best them early. Good
boomerang, though, from Raider. Actually evens that back up, so we'll see how the standard 2v2 develops in top side of the map. EGM going back in for it, though. Sue with the Grasp of the Undying. Going to get stunned up there. EGM no Ignite, but good trade damage there from the Chiefs. Level 1 action there in the 2v2.
Yeah, that's the Braum Sivir. They should be fighting at level 1. Level 2 gets a little bit harder to execute on, but that's only mostly in regards to the Lucian, who's a little bit more maneuverable.
And they got zoned off the wave. Raider had to flash the pillar. Good aggression there from Saigon Jokers.
Yeah, absolutely right. They trade them and force the summoner spells from the Chiefs. Jinky actually working topside means there's a potential gank available. And I think we'll see the junglers meet each other on this top side of the map.
Spooks is power farming right now on the Nidalee. Exactly what we expect. Levita and Swiffer in the meantime have slowed things down just a bit. But Twisted Fate getting the early push on there as the wave does keep crashing towards that top side tower. Radio and Egypt do want to keep it off if they can. And Jinky and Spooks right now not going to that lane. So things will stay a little quiet here as Swiper getting pushed in early. But it looks like he's CSing relatively well. Going to try and keep this wave in a good spot.
Yeah, it's a defusal lane, honestly. Like, the Nautilus's job is to not lose to the Poppy, because that would just suck. Poppy snowballs and scales very well with any type of lead. Similar to that of the Echo we saw last game. Always thought that Echo was like Poppy light, but now Echo is just the best.
Oof. Good trade there from Ro. Knocks Swiper into the wall and manages to chunk him down quite low. This is always the danger. Bursting a Poppy. She can trade very well for a Bruiser, despite how tanky she is.
That's twice Raiders missed that spell shield. Yeah, he's actually running a big risk here.
Teleport getting ganked. He gets stunned. This should be a kill here. Ro's going to move him in, and that's first blood out to Elise.
Yeah, they get the first blood. Levita with an early rotation. That is very Chiefs-esque from the last game we saw of them. Needs to be careful here, Spooks. You're on the wrong side of the map.
Certainly is. Levita lines up the gold card, but Spooks does hop himself over the wall. Swiper, though, losing that trade. He's going to teleport himself back down to the lane, but he is potentially very vulnerable again. Returns with a Corrupting Potion and a Ruby Crystal. So it does have a bit more health now for that gank coming in. Celebrity going to get stunned. No Raider. I think cancelled another auto.
Yeah, he's also missing these spell shields every single time. The Qs are all connecting, and he spell shields reactively after. It's a hard thing to do, but 3 times in a row, just stop using the spell shield and save it for something else.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's going to cost him precious mana as well. As Ro also teleports back to that bottom lane. Actually, identical item buys here. So Swiper, despite getting killed, he managed to keep the lane in a decent spot for now. Spooks are looking mid lane. Swiffer maybe lining it up here. Levita, that's too far forward. He's going to get snared up there. Swiffer in there, and that's a great kill from great attempt from Spooks. Levita, though, will flash out of the way.
Yeah, the spear was meant to be lined up with the trap as well. They tried to communicate, but it was just slightly off and connects with the minion before. I don't think the kill threat was there once he flashed, but it's a lot of damage that's actually just gone awry.
Well, Jinky now moving top lane. He's going to ward up. Swiper again slammed into a wall, but...
It's loving those walls.
Got to watch it with Poppy.
It's like, get away from the walls. Every time.
Reminds me of, what does it remind me of? Old Vayne Alistar 2v2 lanes. When Condemn was way too good.
Headbutt into the wall, Condemn into the wall.
You had to just constantly ward all the brushes.
Just, yeah.
Very frustrating.
That was gross.
It was.
Thank God that's not as good.
I agree. Celebrity and Sue going to go back. As we'll see if Swiper can move away from the rocks.
That's one of those things where it's like, as a player, keep Vayne out of the meta. As a spectator, put it in.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, Swiffer is tough to flash, but Cocoon's going to land in. Stuncard's going to move in as well, and Swiffer absolutely dead. Jinky, his second kill of the game.
Anticipating the Cocoon, he flashed a little bit too early here, Swiffer. This is just proactive play and expected from Jinky on this Elise. He's now 2-0 and has not been matched by the Chiefs at all yet.
It's always the worry with Elise versus Nidalee as well, that you'll just get out-ganked despite how well you farm. Spooks did try and pressure here, but this Nidalee looks vulnerable. Spooks going to have to stay safe and try and clear this out. It goes into cap form, but does keep the wave in a decent spot. Misses that one. So he's going to tank this up here, at least for now. And actually just pulls it to the turret to CS away. So Swiffer will return. He'll run back down. He has his tier from earlier. Now with a pair of boots and no flash. Definitely a big gank target.
Yeah. There's a big mark on his head right now that says, kill me, time and again. But the Twisted Fate has not gone for a build that says that either. He's much more of a, I want to use my ultimate as much as possible and take out the rest of the map, as you can see. Boots of Lucidity, looking towards what looks to be the Sheen. This is the polar opposite of Warzone.
Yep. It is much more aggression, very proactive. Even honestly the opposite of Swiffer in this game, who does just want to scale to that mid game. If it is a Sheen especially, that's a very aggressive build from the Vita.
Spooks is in trouble here, I think.
Not standing in the best spot here.
Oh, no, he's good.
Not spotted by Elise, but that's probably going to diffuse the pressure in mid lane. Swiffer is level 6, so it has decent pressure under the Twisted Fate. If you can lock him out under the snare. Levita still doesn't have a flash, remember. So there's potential here, but for the most part, they just need to keep track of it. As Raid is still down in CS in the top side. Sue did go for a walk there on the Trundle, so a little bit of space here created. Ejim going to block that W. Sue back in the lane, though, and that's pretty much going to call everything back down.
Yeah, they chill out again. Back burner for the Chiefs as, yeah, a little bit behind in farm as the AD carries. I will say Swiper's done well, though, to defuse that Poppy lane. whilst it looks like it's 5 CS, he usually teleports back in or works his way back in and evens it out. And you know what? Anything under 10 is pretty good.
Acceptable, I think.
Absolutely, it's acceptable.
And that's probably how the Chiefs can treat the current early game. 2 kills, great for Saigon Jokers, but 1,000 gold isn't massive. It's just a nice start to the game. We'll see if they can continue that snowball. LoVODs has been well kept down, though, by Spooks and Swiffer in that mid lane. It's very important to keep Twisted Fate contained, because as soon as he gets to a side lane, we're going to start having problems.
Yeah, and they are still definitely looking for this one. Very hard. There's a lot of wards around where Spooks is of his own accord. And so he knows that he's safe, he knows that there's no vision in place. And he knows that there's no flash on the Twisted Fate still. They've got that timed.
You can see Jinky actually moving over some other wards. Doesn't quite see that one there. And that will alert Swiffer. Ooh, good spear there from Spooks.
That's a get out of my jungle spear.
Mm-hmm. That's a warning shot. There's another one. 2 spears land onto Jinky. Big damage. That's without the Runic Echo's finish. Spooks definitely going to be powering up here. And Swiffer with his blue buff going to clear through a bunch of creeps. Radier and Ejim still back here on the top side. PS Sword battles here on top. Does manage to find the spell shield button at the right time.
We got there, and it took him a little while, but he's on track now.
Keeps getting banned, man.
Unfortunately, the farm is the opposite of on track. Small victory, got that spell shield, is actually behind a lot of farm, though. That's not good for the Chiefs.
It was 10 before, but 20 is definitely a substantial lead there for Celebrity. Ooh, that one barely missed, but that was the Q that missed that time, not Raidier's reflexes. Could still cause problems, though, because Ejim and Raider are getting pushed in continually, and Spooks has been trying to keep TF locked down there in that mid lane. He's finally going to visit top, but there's a ward there for Saigon Jokers. They'll easily back away from it. Swiffer does spot the pink ward. He's able to take that out, but here we go again in bottom lane.
Yeah, Jinky looking threatening to dive. Remember the Twisted Fate. You can see him on your minimap walking towards bottom. They have one idea in mind, but Swiper knows.
Yeah, Trunk in the top lane, though. Swiper does intelligently back away. Jinky actually on the Gromp.
Give it a Riptide, Swiper. Come on.
Decides it's not safe. Probably the smart play here.
Yeah.
Swiffer also with the TP could join in for that dive. So Saigon Jokers, I think, do well to give up on that potential dive, knowing that Swiper was acting responsibly there. Sue is going to clear this ward out as Raider looking to maybe get some damage down. But for the most part, the Chiefs forced to play back. This was sort of the worry with this comp. It does need to scale.
I think they don't know that Ejim's in that bush. At least as the minimap tells me. They're playing aggressively. Raider was also playing like he was alone.
Now they know. Top lane's where they're going to go. Actually, a good stun onto Raider, but a great block there from Ejim. Now the TP's coming from everywhere. As they're going to try and lock down LoVODs on the Chiefs side. LoVODs is going to get ulti by the Nautilus, but the damage is still there. Ejim goes in as the Poppy ultimate kicks 2 out. Ejim now forced to flash and stand behind Raider. And everyone's here, and nobody's dead.
And that was big from the Poppy in particular, because it was starting to go downhill quick for Saigon Joker. Spooks has made his way around, so there's an opportunity that a delayed... Oh, God.
Ward there actually is going to move in for Roe, but Roe a little too aggressive, perhaps. Swiffer back in, but he can't quite make it in. A great Trundle Pillar from Sue is going to defuse that situation. And once again, everybody leaves. Even Elise was coming up.
Yeah, there was about to be a 10-man dance battle in the top lane. I think the Chiefs are still holding on, though. This is really cheeky. Yeah, they might go in.
Maybe greedy. Swiffer going to pop it in. Sue, though, he's going to get locked up. Swiffer able to get a kill. Chiefs finally draw blood.
The I am going to sit in a bush and pretend we've recalled strategy twice in a row from both teams. But finally, the Chiefs get themselves on the board. That's a Rise as well who picks up the kill. You might would have liked it a little bit more on Raider so that he could catch up, but it doesn't matter because the Rise is scaling just as hard.
Yeah, gold going to be stabilized at least. I think it's the important thing. Now about 1,000 between the two sides. Saigon Joker's still up here in the game. You can tell everyone trying to make that aggressive play. Roe, though, couldn't quite set it up. As Swiffer and Spooks at it again. Flash forward onto LoVODs, but it cocoons in. Spooks, though, moves in and takes one out. But Jinky wants to get an assassination back. Swiffer, though, does so much damage. But he has to juke the skill shots. That's going to force the flash as Sue is here. But Ejim's also in there. Does pop forward, but he only tags Sue with the Winter's Bite. Wow. We're starting to get aggressive.
Yeah, it definitely is. You can see it's heating up. Swiffer's doing a lot more damage, as is Spooks with his Runic Echoes completed. Not that it isn't matched, however, by Jinky. The damage was definitely still respectable on the flip side, but Twisted Fate was completely caught out of position before he got in there, and so the trade was not possible.
Yep, and again, that flash snare, always dangerous with the Rise. Spooks actually going to move into the bottom side of the map. Swiper does fancy it here. Spear lands onto Roe, but the teleport's going to come down, forcing a flash there in bottom side. Chiefs do well to get 2 summoners.
Yeah, and Levita using his teleport down there is actually very well executed by the Chiefs. Entirely non-committal. A Nautilus hooking you and then auto-attacking you is not go in. It's the opportunity to go in, and because the spear couples with it and follows that up nicely, they actually work well to wait for the auto-attack from Swiper before he throws the spear. It scares the daylights out of Ro.
Yeah, he flashes immediately as the Chiefs starting to sync up a little bit more now.
Oh, going again.
Saigon Joker still with initiative, but Su's trapped out. Swiffer, solo kill there. Q not there. Su with a good flash to get out of that situation.
Yeah, clutch flash gets him out. Remember, it's the new Rise, so the lockdown is no longer a thing. Old Rise would have got a kill there.
Old Rise would have got...
What a champion that was.
I think he would have got a kill and then like continued to run top with his ultimate movement speed and got another double.
You know, sometimes...
Old Rise is a great champion.
And this would be like really foolish to say. I feel like Rise won Worlds as much as Faker did.
Yep.
But like Faker won another champion, so it's okay. But if it was only Rise, I would have been very curious to see how it would have went otherwise.
To be fair, he was the only one really playing it at that tournament.
Yeah.
Really showed the world what it could do. Has been changed since then, of course, but Swiffer still showing off that current Rise pretty strong still.
Oh, yeah. I think the idea behind it is it doesn't 100 to 0 you anymore. You need to have other people hitting you, so it's a lot more balanced in that respect. The damage is still crazy.
Going in for Jinky though, but here's Levita moving in also. Spooks, oh, we missed his hop. But everyone's going to back away instead. Levita doesn't quite fancy going in aggressive. I think they must have spotted Spooks in the Raptor pit.
Yeah, they did. The spear came out the same time the Jinky went in. So, oh, they got him.
It's a Cocoon. Levita here with a stun. Should be easy follow-up here, and Spooks looks locked down. The pounce is there, but Jinky just takes him out. And now top lane calling there for Celebrity is going to do the good damage. Saigon Joker's fancy a dive. Siva forced to pop the ulti. Good stun there onto Su as he's taking up the tower. Celebrity flashing forward, takes out Raid here. And the Cocoon's going to miss on top side. Swift slays Su as he moves up there as well, but Ejim is going to get locked down and taken out. He can't do anything.
Yeah, he was pillared against the wall, so he was completely stuck. Yes, the Trundle goes down, but everybody with blinking health bars and Swift are unable to get in causes some concerns as, once again, he's on a ward.
Yep, he's going to get spotted. Dodges those cards out, but knows Levita can probably see him there. Bottom lane, no TPs because both Nautilus and Poppy were ready to cancel. So for once, we don't have a big dance party.
But that was just greedy from Spooks, and that's what happens as a natural progression from the Nidalee getting caught out trying to clear a ward.
And now we have 2 Rod of Ages actually being built up here for the Chiefs. The catalyst for both the Rise and the Nidalee makes sense on the Rise. That is the standard build. But often on Nid, it's a snowball item.
Yeah.
Spooks maybe feeling the build a little too early. That death is going to cost him that potential snowball just a little bit.
Yeah, the interesting thing is, like, he's not exactly doing poorly.
No.
It's just that, like, Elise is leaps and bounds ahead. And so he can still afford to go for this Rod of Ages as long as the lead that Saigon Jokers have got does not increase in the duration between now and when he has the Rod of Ages completed. To be fair, Swift has already got his in place, and so he's scaling at a rapidly increasing rate right now.
Essence Reaver's done for the AD carries also, but Celebrity a little bit further ahead there with most of the Zeal built in. Has a bunch of different components there.
That Phantom Dancer.
But yeah, we'll be going PD on the Lucian.
Oh, yeah, it could be other things.
I mean, whatever happens.
Let's go
it's
with
gonna
PD.
Be good.
Yeah, let's
sure,
go with
PD, we'll run it.
Most likely be static shift.
We'll check in later.
Those guys.
Ready to pops the ulti, TP top lane. Looking for Su again, gets tagged by Winter's Bite. It's Swiffer this time around as the stuns come out. Lockdown forever as Swiffer gets a kill.
Yeah, 3-1-1 this Rise, and that's the saving grace of the Chiefs roster right now. The proactive plays, because a Braum can follow it up well. Yeah, you get out of there as well, Celebrity, if I were you.
And this should be a convert to the first objective of the game, actually. We've seen a lot of kills back and forth early on, but the Chiefs going to finally concert for a push here. And it looks like maybe Spooks can't quite stop this either. That spear doesn't hit the minion wave. So no procs there. Jinky going to play forward for it. Levita does want to get it, but Swift is coming back in now. Yeah. Could be an interesting trade here as far as turrets go.
We're 17 minutes in the game and nobody's got a dragon.
Yep.
It's like we're playing a different season of League of Legends entirely. This is crazy stuff.
Well, Rady does take the tower, so good global goal there from the Chiefs, but about to be answered by Saigon Jokers, who are going to keep their lead up in this one. Celebrity should be able to take this out. The rest of the Jokers are here.
Wow,
Swiffer, he wants it. Flashes in for Celebrity, but he's going to get locked up there as Ejim does manage to save his life. Ro punts one out, though, as he almost gets Spooks with the ultimate. Swiffer with a hugely aggressive play.
That was so manly. Levita's always got that gold card ready to go, so he knew that he was going to get stunned. But once again, flashes in, puts down a ridiculous amount of pain onto Celebrity, but the turret was already too low. and they do lose the objective for it and a flash.
You know what that felt like? Oh, never mind. This feels bad. As Spooks does get tagged by a red card. That might actually get him to safety. Manages to flash pounce away.
The lucky red card. That could have been a gold if he was hanging around any longer. What does it feel like? Pastry time. Let's go back.
Oh, I was going to talk about, you know what, Swiffer is like, he has that moment, he's like, yeah, go in. He's so ready to press his Seraphs, and he's like, wait, I don't have it. I don't have another shield.
What time of the game is it?
Yeah, mistakes have been made. As the blue buff goes over.
Like maybe even the Merc treads I was expecting him to have.
Ooh, hello. Damage here. EG maybe the target. No, it is Radiant, but a spell shield's not enough, Ro. That was too much CC to dodge there.
Yeah, it was also the spell used by Jinky beforehand, so he gets the double stuns off. Yeah, probably going to die regardless from the Poppy Slam into the wall. Target selection was good from Saigon Jokers, even though the spell shield was there.
Does well to get it. Levita, good ulti, locks him down with that big Lich Bane. Looks like Abyssal should be coming up next, but this is an aggressive Twist of Fate build. Spooks, though, tagged. No real follow-up there available. And Saigon Joker's not going to be able to push, but we could have Dragon 1 here. Finally picked up very late, as you mentioned before, 90 minutes. But Chiefs are running over to the Rift Herald. I guess they'll try and make a trade.
Yeah, you would expect them to be trading objectives while Swiper goes towards that top lane. The question to me is, do Saigon Jokers actually want that Rift Herald? They want to stop Chiefs from taking it. The answer is, just don't do the Rift Herald at all.
Ooh, Sue maybe caught again. Does hit the first snare, but he exhausts down onto Swiffer. The rest of Saigon Joker's going to fight Ejim. Looking for it as the Chiefs are going to teleport in. Spooks round the other side, but Swiffer is the target. He will get locked down and taken up by Celebrity, and now Spooks is way too deep. Big Nautilus ultimate's not enough. And there's a double kill for Lucian, maybe a triple as a run forward. Pillar flashed in there by Sewer Swiper. Will get locked down by Goldcard, and then Cocoon slammed into the pillar for the triple for Lucian. Great play by the Jokers.
Yeah, very well done from the Saigon Jokers. They get themselves a massive amount of picks, and they just keep getting caught out of position here, the Chiefs. These Elise Cocoons from Jinky are everything and more.
And Raiders trying for something here. Ejim off to the side. Could maybe look for it. Levita gets chomped.
They need to run. There's too many members now working their way in. The Chiefs don't get the trade. That's actually just a massive misplay across the board. That goal lead has extended to 5,000.
And we talked about it. This team comp so powerful from the Chiefs. We've seen what the Rise can do. Sivir, a great addition to that. Like, everything they have in their comp is great. But the big worry, especially against a team like this, is always when you fall behind and you start getting picked off, the game gets so much harder for you. This mid-game comp will reach mid-game much later, given the gold lead that Saigon Jokers now has. And that's just execution from the Chiefs. That's nothing to do with the picks.
Yeah, and the Saigon Jokers are always going to continue to scale with the team composition that they have also. The Elise is always relevant. You just throw out the Cocoons, and that's essentially your job. The Poppy's a tank. That's not going to change anytime soon, as is the Trundle. And they've just got this really big front line set in stone. Every time the Exhaust is available, Swiffer feels like he's useless for a couple of seconds. And that Twisted Fate, the split-pushing threat that he's now got available to him, this is only starting to look a bit worse every single time they fight now. As there's a pink ward, get it.
Doesn't go for it. And taking a recall, probably has the Seraphs ready. Levita, though, taking turrets left, right, and center. And Saigon Jokers go up to 6,000 gold. Again, it's so funny to watch their comp kind of get it to a good reactive point, but instead of waiting to get an advantage and then pressing, they're just getting an advantage and then sitting on their laurels and reacting well. It's great to see them adapt here. Celebrity gets the culling down. Radier almost going to die. Last few bullets, not enough. Radier with a good spell shield there.
Yeah, actually the spell shield saving like one bullet, and that was actually the difference. Whilst it's not usually a big deal, proves to be this time around.
And look at this Rod of Ages that Spooks wanted. It's very late now. Like, might not even get it for a few minutes. As Rift Herald buff going to get applied bottom side. Jinky doing good damage onto that tier 2 in bottom side.
He's even got an Amp Tome, so honestly I think he's just leaving it a Catalyst.
Yeah, maybe.
And going into like a Void stuff.
Has to do something here, but the Chiefs fallen significantly far behind. The Saigon Jokers have been playing excellently through this mid-game to find the picks they need and snowball that lead. The Chiefs do have to turtle up for a little while. You can see Playmaker boots there for Swiffer. Does have the distortion upgrade already done. But Rose causing problems, Levita's causing problems in a side lane. This is just a perfect setup for Saigon.
Yeah, this is ideal right now for the Saigon Jokers. Even 2 levels ahead Row over Swiper. As Spooks is being bled out of his own jungle, there's nothing left available to him. The Twisted Fate is the split-pushing tool that's keeping Swiffer busy, and Swiffer being the primary carry of this Chiefs roster right now. Not where they want to be. Saigon Jokers, however, can just continue this trend and look a good every single time they do it.
This pattern shouldn't need to change for a while. They've got a great 1-3-1 comp, and they seem like a good 1-3-1 team. Jinky once again, huge game on another gank-heavy jungler. 4-0-4 on the Elise right now. As Levita is going to take that blue buff away. And Baron's also in play at this point of the game as well. So T's got plenty to worry about. No dragon up just yet. And that will be an unlikely win condition as Radiant pops a spell shield. He's going to get run down here. Forced to ulti as Levita's here as well. Teleport's going to come in. Levita gets the cards down. And that pretty much zones Radiant out of the fight. Swiffer is in though, but he's looking for Roe perhaps. But Roe just far too tanky and the stuns aren't going to move in. They're onto the rise, but the exhaust is down onto Celebrity. The Chiefs burn everything just to live.
The Chiefs do well to live, but they don't really have a lot of health to speak of right now. This turret will probably go down. They need to be careful.
Whoa, Jinky goes in for it, but the hook is not there for Nautilus. Ulti is good though onto Jinky as he knocks up 2. But the gold card there is zoning everyone away as Raid is actually back to Chief. Maybe can turn a tower dive around here as Jinky is very, very low. Shutdown's going to come in for the Nautilus as I'll pick up that first one, but the fight's going to still continue and the damage deals are
Rise
in the
is back.
one. Rise going in massive at Swiffer, just not enough damage. Celebrity gets another double, make it yet another triple.
And Saigon Jokers, honestly, this team fight was in a clutch choke point for them. All of the spells connecting. Levita hits so many gold cards. Even Spooks needs to be careful. This is going to be the base. Maybe broken.
Should be. No, can't stay. Was about one more blue away from going down, but little too low after that team fight. The Chiefs, they rest on the little things right now, but this gold lead's getting out of control. Saigon Joker's almost 9k up, getting real close to 10.
Yeah, this is almost an unchaseable goal difference now between these teams. Celebrity 7-0-1 on this Lucian. We said it at the start of the game. Perhaps you want to take it away from him, honestly, just so he can't have it. But they draft towards this elegant style of team composition with the Sivir Rise, and they get brute forced.
Yep, it seemed like we've seen this a lot in Wildcards. This was the story of day one. Everyone's trying to play nice, like fun, clean, finesse League of Legends, and teams are just winning by going straight at them and running brute force. Saigon Joker's definitely been picking up the aggression since their first day of play. And the Chiefs, again, we talked about it. It really was just execution. And right now, a little too far behind as Levita going to continue snowballing these lanes out. Sue flash pillars in there. And Swiper's going to get locked down here. They probably have enough damage as he's going to get stunned again by Twist of Fate. Just can't go anywhere as Levita gets his first kill of the game, actually.
Yeah, no way out this time around, Levita. Of course, he was the support basically up until this moment. He's just the gold card king. As this is going to be the turret, you would have to... No, 3 members here.
No, Super here to clean it out,
yeah,
but here's the TP in. Chiefs maybe have to fight it, but they don't really want to. Pop in there from the Poppy. He's going to start the fight up there. A Swiffer just gets decimated. 8th kill there for Celebrity, and that inhibitor is well and truly dead.
Absolutely. Celebrity is legendary at the moment. That is a scary prospect for the Chiefs. That's 1 inhibitor down, and you would imagine with this bottom lane push, the second one would not be too far away given that gold deficit. The Oceanic team currently suffers.
Real rough right now. 6 towers up for the Saigon Jokers.
I just don't like the Nidalee in this particular tournament. Like, Nidalee is the best champion in the jungle right now. That goes without saying. With all the jungle champions that were banned, I still just feel like the way teams are playing, it doesn't suit Nidalee.
No, it's just, again, been very brute force, engage-heavy League of Legends.
You need ganking junglers.
You do, and Jinky's shown that. He's like, you know what? I had the option of playing in Nidalee. He's played some of the other junglers, but he's been a lot of Gragas Elise this tournament, and his Elise in particular. This game, definitely standing out.
And that's what separates, though, like the Graves and Kindred from the Nidalee. Is because you can use auto attacks and still successfully gank. Like, we can see a Kindred just jump in and be like, I do damage. Because the Nidalee needs to hit those spears, needs to set things up, and honestly, proper vision just stops that from happening.
Almost too cute here. As Radiant is going to go ahead and get the red buff. Chiefs still looking to fight. 10,000 gold down, though. Saigon Jokers definitely on the approach to try and seal this one up. Might be looking for that Baron just to ensure that they can end the game the, I'm not going to say proper way, but the standard way.
It's the easiest way, because you can break the base much more effectively. Ryze can't wave clear Baron minions as well.
Ro and Levita actually busy anyway, so I think they'll just keep pushing for a while. They can both join it almost any time. Spook's actually looking topside, but I don't think Levita really minds. Going to teleport out. Spooks can't stop it. Good damage there, but not enough to kill him.
He definitely still minds, though, Levita. Does not have his teleport available, whilst his ultimate is now down as well. And perhaps a small respite available. for this Chiefs roster, at least of 30 seconds, because it is a home guard move speed based Twisted Fate after all.
Potential for a play perhaps, but don't really want to start a team fight, even 5v4. Celebrity's just doing way too much damage, and the carries on the Chiefs are just too far behind.
Yeah, they are very far behind. The damage is still there for a rise, but the thing is, like, no resistance penetration-based items, no Void Staffs, no Last Whispers. They're not doing damage to the tanks.
And 3-item tank, plus actually Jinky with also 3 tank items pretty much. I guess 2. One of them's an Runic Echoes.
I mean, there's even one for the Twisted Fate. There's a Hex Drinker as well for Celebrity. Like, they just have no way to get through them.
Good by Turret in top lane. Levita and Jinky pair up and take that one away. Not a whole lot left for the Chiefs to try and defend here. But picking a team fight is a difficult prospect.
I mean, what we're looking towards right now, like Saigon Joker's there in the driver's seat to try and close this game out as best they can, right? But they all have magic resistance, so the only way that we can see this happening is if Raiders manages to hit the backline.
Well, Jinky up. Does get hooked in there by Nautilus, but isn't too worried about it. Ro taking pretty much no damage. In fact, actually no damage as he picks up the buckler.
I do not care for your Rise Ways.
Does not. And now the rest of Saigon Joker is going to move up. Edom going to try and zone them off, but he probably can't stop this. This inhibitor should die here unless the Chiefs want to start a fight for it.
They
do. They've grabbed Celebrity. Everyone's in, and they've actually taken him down. The first key pick is good, but Levita still doing damage as Sue and Jinky taking in the front lines. The Chiefs are going to get the rappel down. Jinky going to flash away to safety, but Sue locked up. Levita going to try and kite them out. The Chiefs, that was everything. And they needed that Lucian.
They do well to only get 1 death, though, here on the side of the Saigon Jokers. More members than that were in dangerous predicaments.
Oh, Sue, he stays! He wants to actually take out Radier, but Levita's here as well. It's not really safe for Radier to be here. Levita, oh, good spell shield is going to prevent him from going down. Radier actually needs to leave now. But the rest of his team's coming. They may have caught Ro here. Damage is not quite there, though. This Poppy, absolutely massive. And here's Levita once again with another gold card. Ro going to continue to be locked down. He's going to flash away.
Be careful. Don't go in, Spooks.
Yeah, he didn't. He jumps away, actually.
Yeah, well done from the Chiefs again. They push them out, but still, from the Saigon Joker's side, nobody dies. And that's the thing. Like, you can make the best plays in the world, but if the enemy champions don't actually meet the death chamber, you've gained no traction. All they've done is slow down this game's inevitable finish until they get those kills instead.
Yep, and they need the items. That's the issue. Like, this comp is so good. You can see how much work it can do when you do have your items, but Sivir and Rise now starting to get to item 3. It's a point they wish they were at already. Or at least the game is a bit more even. As
but what it's worth, they're not far away. Like, they are actually a lot closer to those items, but they're going in now.
Yeah, looking for maybe to try and stop the Baron. Gold card there onto the Ejim actually as Ro's going to move in. Levita actually went very aggressively far forward, but Radier is now in. Ro, though, not really going to be killed, but he's actually now taking damage. Not quite enough, but a good 4-man knockup from Poppy could be it. Spooks, I think, trying to zone the rest of them away. They are going to get Ro here by the looks of things. Sue can't save them, but now the rest of the Saigon Jokers are here. Celebrity, he is the big threat. Culling in the choke point's going to do massive damage. Ejim blocks off what he can, but Celebrity's going to take him out. Spooks off to the side, trying to get it down, but Rise goes down to another Lucian double, and Celebrity absolutely wrecks people with a quadra.
12-1-2 this Lucian right now. The Saigon Jokers have just effectively dismantled the Chiefs roster in a very, very stellar showing from this team. That's at least 2 inhibitors, and that will be the game.
That 1 death to blemish the record. Celebrity looking absolutely huge on the Lucian once again. The Chiefs so close, but not close enough. The Saigon Jokers, they snowball excellently and show off some of that aggression they brought from home. Awesome game to watch there. Incredible pick play. And they will be the Nexus following the Chiefs, their 3rd loss of the tournament. The Saigon Jokers, they're only getting stronger.
I think it's safe to say that by the time the Chiefs hit that point of power, it was already too late. There was no way to come back into that game. And the Saigon Jokers, they take down the Chiefs and cement their position, the Chiefs, near the bottom of the ladder.
Just making it look too easy. The Saigon Jokers, again, I think 1 loss so far in the tournament, which was surprising for them, but they've only gotten stronger. Southeast Asia always comes to surprise at wildcards, and they've just shown up time and time again. Jinky going off once again on the Elise. Sue having another excellent support game, this time on Trundle. And Levita have to be happy to have him back in the lineup because that Twist of Fate was crisp.
Yeah, and that actually puts the Saigon Jokers tied for first now, I believe, with 3-1. So there's now a three-way tie for first. Even a little bit more confusing for who's actually going to take that out. And that to me says that the bottom of the table is now going to be looking more towards that fourth place spot to actually secure their spot in the playoffs.
And that's the thing. It could be a real scrappy fight for those last few slots that moving into the playoffs. But yeah, with Hard Random and Saigon Jokers both having the same record, there is actually a tie there. Obviously, as the day breaks out, we'll try and separate the standings more and see which teams are actually going to advance. But the Saigon Jokers, no matter what comp they seem to play up against, they're just getting stronger. Because they always play the same style of League of Legends. They have good reactive play. Twist of Fate fits in perfectly with what people want to be doing at this tournament. And I think they're starting to pick up again. More of that aggression. Jinky's just getting a lane ahead, and then everything's going right from there. Even Celebrity, back on the Lucian again, playing consistently. Every lane fires consistently for this team, and that's true of both the teams that are first currently.
Yeah, and to me, like, once again, I do think this comes back to Jinky, and the reason that it is because his ganks were successful. Spooks tried really hard to get ganks off, but the vision that was set up by Saigon Jokers actually spotted him at every single moment, and that's counterintuitive of this Nidalee that should be doing the opposite and keeping tabs on Jinky. Fast jungling, fast clearing means that you place vision quicker than the enemy team does. You watch where they're placing vision, where they're going to gank from, but completely out jungled, I'm going to say plain and simple here, with Spooks on this Nidalee.
And that was the thing we talked about, the Chiefs team comp. It just seemed a little bit too cute, but they do pick up the loss. Saigon Jokers, though, with another awesome win there, picking up a very nice win versus Oceanies. The Chiefs don't go too far away, though. We'll be back with more IWCI right after the break.